In the CSRA, there are a few winter essentials, and one you can't go without. The 1226 First Alert Weather App, the earliest alerts, customized for you, and video forecasts from local experts.
Lake wind advisory is in effect, and it's a really cold afternoon.
It's the must-have accessory to get you ready for the elements. Download the free 1226 First Alert Weather App, your essential winter survival tool. Your safety comes first with the First Alert Radar Network. First just got faster.
Parker's Kitchen is my new daily coffee stop.
Gourmet beans are freshly ground for every cup. Get your own cup of great tasting, freshly brewed coffee at Parker's Kitchen.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 1226 this morning.
A peek ahead into your morning. The Sandbar Ferry Bridge is set to close soon. Hear from neighbors how that would affect them. The Ronald McDonald House is looking for your support, and Governor McMaster gave his State of the State address this week. All that and more in just a moment, but first, here's a live look over SRP Park this morning, or over by SRP Park this morning. Good morning, I'm Audrey Dickerber. We're so glad that you're joining us this morning, and it felt a little bit more chilly this morning than I thought it was going to be this morning, because I'm waiting for those 70s. I saw that we're going to be like in the high 70s later on this week.
It will be, and the 70s will be in the afternoon. The 30s are in the morning, at least this morning. We were counting on some clouds to come in overnight. That would have kept us in the 40s, but the clouds were a no-show, and temperatures have cooled off a little more than forecast this morning. We do have a lot of 30s out there early on, a few 40s as well. Our dog walk forecast brought to us by none other than Tom Brady. No, not the football player, the golden retriever. Is that what that is? Yes, golden retriever. 43 degrees at 7 o'clock in the morning for your morning dog walk. Some 30s out there in the cool spots as well, and it will be partly sunny by 10 o'clock, and not too shabby for the afternoon, up to about 60 for the afternoon. Snow on the ground when that photo of Tom Brady was taken, but that snow is a thing of the past, and there's no more in the forecast anytime soon. Radar Network is not showing any rain either. It will be a dry Sunday after a cool start. We've gone all the way down to 34 degrees now at Augusta Regional Airport, 36 there in Crawfordville, but some 40s as well. We have had a patchwork of cloud cover overnight where the clouds are. It is warmer, 44 right now in Graniteville, but a chilly morning on post there at Fort Eisenhower. Your temperature in the even 40 degrees. Car wash forecast for the next few days still looks really good in terms of rainfall. We don't have any rain in the forecast through at least Wednesday. Could be a small chance of rain returning around Thursday and Friday. High temperatures in the 70s will be the main weather headline we're all talking about the next few days. The average high 61. We're flirting with 80 degrees by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Morning lows will be on the up and up after a cool start this morning in the 30s. We're in the low 40s for a couple of days, and then near 60 for a low temperature by Thursday. Next chance of rain, about 30% chance of rain on Thursday. We'll talk a little more about that and take a preview of the next weekend forecast in just a bit.
Thanks, Chris. And SDOT is laying out plans to repair and close the Sandbar Ferry Bridge in Beach Island. The detour is going to be about 8.5 miles long with lane closures. Your Daily 7 spoke with concerned neighbors about the project and has a closer look at the roads it impacts.
This is part of the 8-mile detour route right here that will eventually take you through 520 if you're trying to get across the river, with multiple other bridge closures on important routes like Atomic Road and Storm Branch Road. People are worried about the congestion and losing options on their commutes. For the past few years, drivers coming out of Beach Island have been navigating through the headache of detours as more bridges are closing for repairs.
They closed this one down. They closed Atomic Road.
Alicia Devine Lee says waiting on bridge projects like Storm Branch Road, Atomic Road, and eventually Sandbar Ferry Road is causing more than frustration.
Our cost has gone up because you have to go around. Time, feeling the effects. We have to go at least 20 minutes out of our way to detour around. Not to mention the gas that we have to use.
SCDOT's project manager Alex Bennett says the rehabilitation project on Sandbar Ferry is being coordinated with Atomic Road Bridge project to not overlap.
The entire construction for this project is approximately 15 months, with the last around 2 months of this project being the time frame that it would undergo a full closing detour. So that's well after, the Atomic Road bridges are slated to be reopened.
Bennett says the reason behind the large amount of bridge closures is age, not meeting safety standards, and SCDOT using funds while they still have them. Last year, the General Assembly allocated $200 million for state bridges, which has sped up SCDOT's plan to complete 500 bridges.
A lot of the bridges that need work are actually getting to work now, and that's why you see a lot of cones out on the street. You see a lot of resurfacing going on.
Divine Lee says it will have to be a wait-and-see game on how these projects will impact her drive, but she hopes things end better than what drivers are experiencing now.
It's caused a lot of havoc on us already, us having to spend more money on gas and our time to go around.
SCDOT's project manager says the project is slated to start this fall, with the Atomic Road Bridge being finished by the end of the summer. He says the westbound portion of the bridge will only be completely closed in the last 2 to 3 months during resurfacing, which he says will be well past the deadline of Atomic Road.
And an Evans High School head football coach and teacher, Bear Davis, is no longer employed by the Columbia County School District. This comes after a letter to parents Monday warned of an alleged inappropriate relationship between an employee and a former student. The school district says an investigation is underway, and any students who witness suspicious activity should be reported to school administration. There's also an anonymous tip line, which we have linked on our website, wrdw.com. We're still trying to figure out if Barrett resigned or was terminated. And Bain College is kicking off a new semester with an address from the new president. Dr. Lester McWarren spoke at this week's spring convocation about his plans for the school.
Faculty, staff, administration, and students, no excuses. Excuses are the tools of the incompetent. So we're going to build this on excellence. So that's what pride represents for us. You will see that in many ways. You'll see soon sort of new branding for the college, new representation of pride.
McWarren also gave updates on new health and science and hospitality programs coming to the college. And people and organizations that rely on federal funding do not have to worry. That's because the White House is pulling back on a freeze ordered by President Donald Trump after a federal judge.
Not everyone receiving care at the Children's Hospital of Georgia lives in the CSRA. That's where the Ronald McDonald House Charities of Augusta steps in. I shared with you back in September about how they house families at no cost while their child receives treatment. With the cancellation of an annual fundraiser, they're now looking ahead to ways they can gain the community support. They're finding solutions in how they can get you to help them serve thousands of families at the Children's Hospital.
The Ronald McDonald House Charities of Augusta has been helping families for 40 years. With their 23-bedroom house located steps away from the Children's Hospital, they're able to give families a place to stay.
Being that close to the hospital means that no matter where they come from, they're right by their child's side. And by keeping families together, we're helping to remove the barriers for families. We're strengthening those families by keeping them together, and we're promoting healing for their child.
And this is made possible at no cost to families because of the community support and through annual fundraisers like Wine, Women, and Shoes. Sadly, this event for 2024 was canceled because of Hurricane Helene. Instead of originally postponing it, they have now decided to look ahead to this year's event in September.
We just knew that the community as a whole wasn't ready for something, of this magnitude, and we wanted to make sure that we were respectful of that. We also wanted to make sure that, we have a great fundraising event, and so we just felt like pushing it off until the fall was the best thing for everybody, so we're really looking forward to it.
She says despite not having last year's event, that doesn't affect their ability to help families. And one new way they're doing that is through this hospitality cart that is full of goodies to take to families inside the hospital.
This program, we need volunteers that are qualified through both the hospital and RMHC to take that same comfort of the house and extend it to every room within the Children's Hospital.
They say volunteers are really needed right now so that they can continue their mission.
I think it is critically important that people understand the mission of the Ronald McDonald House and the things that we have here in this community that can really help them while, their children are sick, and allow them just to focus on their child.
The Wine, Women, and Shoes fundraiser is set for September 18th. Until then, you can support them by volunteering for the hospitality card or signing up for their family table, where you can provide food and cook for the families who stay at the Ronald McDonald House. For more information, visit our website, wrdw.com.
It was a beautiful day out there on Saturday. The high temperature yesterday, 69 degrees. That was 8 degrees warmer than average. The low, a cool 40, but that was 4 degrees warmer than average as well. We have even warmer weather on the way as we head into the first week of February. We'll have a look at your work week forecast coming up.
Attention timeshare owners.
And this past Thursday marks 3 years since Alexis Wrdw was last seen driving away from a 7-Eleven in Anderson County, South Carolina. Her car was later found in McCormick County near the Georgia line, but she was nowhere to be found. The case remains open under the Anderson County Sheriff's Office. Her loved ones are pushing for more to be done, not only for Alexis Wrdw's case, but for the dozens of missing persons cases that have now sat without new leads for years. Kennedy Ayers explains how Ware's family hopes other families can find help through the Alexis Ware Act.
This case will be 3 years old with absolutely no type of resolve whatsoever.
Uncertainty and anguish, words Alexis Ware's mother used in a letter describing her emotions the last few years.
We know that some of our local municipalities that do not have the resources to conduct a thorough investigation, and we believe that SLED would have the ability to do so.
Along with Alexis Ware's sister, community activist Bruce Wilson presented Greenville legislators the Alexis Ware Act. The proposed legislation would allow families of missing persons to request SLED takeover cases which remain unsolved after 12 months. Along with the act, Wilson included a letter from SLED responding to Ware's mother's request for their assistance.
And one thing they say is that we cannot do anything because we have to be invited in. And that's been the problem. They haven't been invited in.
In a statement from June, the Anderson County Sheriff's Office told us their detectives are immensely invested in Ware's case. It went on to say SLED and other agencies are aware of elements of the case.
They understand that it takes time. They understand the resources. They get all of that. But what they are completely upset with and didn't understand is that when it came to receiving meaningful communication with the investigator or the individual that's over that case, it was lacking. It wasn't there.
Ware's family is hopeful if a legislator sponsors the bill, it could help bring them and other families one step closer to answers.
The impact of Alexis's disappearance is not limited to our family alone. Her children are suffering immensely, grappling with the absence of their mother and the unanswered questions that hunt us all.
The Anderson County Sheriff's Office says they continue to follow every lead and investigate any evidence in Ware's disappearance. SLED says it remains aware of elements of the case. And South Carolina's Department of Revenue is reminding people of common mistakes they see on your taxes. They encourage you to use electronic returns as they are less likely to allow errors and to wait for your W-2 and 1099 forms before filing. They add South Carolina's Department of Revenue must have your current address. If they do not, it could delay processing. The IRS started accepting and processing income tax returns Monday, but both South Carolina and Georgia will begin processing returns on February 3rd.
It was a nice Saturday out there. High temperatures around the area, 69 the official high in Augusta, 74 a warm day yesterday in Millen, and you hit 70s for the fourth day in a row there in Aiken with high of 71. Even warmer weather than this is on the way for the week ahead. We'll have another check on your forecast and look at your travel forecast coming up.
Ready? It's happening now through Monday.
50% off this Valentine's Day. You'll also receive the Power Swab Sustain Out Quick Stick, absolutely free. And in addition, you will get free shipping.
People don't realize how much stress is on you when you have a big accident. I had 5 surgeries after that. When Ken took over my battle, I have more time and less stress to focus on my healing. One call, that's all.
Now's the time for a great deal on a new Honda. It's time to take an adventure with rugged capability. and commanding style. From the Kelley Blue Book Best Value right now. Right now, you can get a $339 per month lease or 1.9% APR on a 2025 CRV all-wheel drive EX.
First Alert Weather, where accuracy matters. From keeping you alert during severe weather to helping you prepared throughout the day. We're so confident in our accuracy, we're willing to bet on it. Introducing the 3-Degree Guarantee. Each weekday that our forecast high is within 3 degrees of the actual high, a local charity gets money in their bank. No other Augusta station is on your side the way we are, keeping you ready for anything and putting our accuracy to work.
The First Alert Weather 3-Degree Guarantee, sponsored by Tub Doctor.
If you can't catch the action in person, catch the game live on Peachtree Sports Network. Augusta University versus USCA, February 8th, beginning at 7:30 p.m.
Live from Augusta, you're watching News 1226 this morning.
A peek ahead into your morning, get the latest on the pending Burke County lawsuit, catch up with local sports, and hear Georgia Democrats' plan for 2025. All that more in just a moment, but first, here's a live look at Grovetown this morning as we're still waiting for that sun to come up. But good morning, I'm Audrey Dick-Herber. We're so glad that you're joining us this morning, and we might need a little bit of that sun today because it seems like it's going to be a little bit more chilly.
Yeah, we are cooling off just a little bit out there. And by the way, on the subject of the sun, we're gaining 2 full minutes a day of daylight this time in the year. So sunrise today will be at 7:23. Yesterday it was at 7:24, and tomorrow 7:22. And sunset's doing the same thing. Sunset tonight will be at 6:01. So we're finally have our sunsets after 6 o'clock. So
good news.
Good news to a lot of people, I think. The whole daylight saving time, definitely a big subject of debate. What's not up for debate is little Oreo here looking cute for the camera there on the day this picture was taken. I think I understand why they chilly. Yeah, we are cooling off just a little bit out there. By the way, on the subject of the sun, we're gaining 2 full minutes a day of daylight this time in the year. So sunrise today will be at 7:23. Yesterday it was at 7:24, and tomorrow 7:22. And sunset's doing the same thing. Sunset tonight will be at 6:01. So we're finally have our sunsets after 6 o'clock. So
good news.
Good news to a lot of people, I think. The whole daylight saving time, definitely a big subject of debate. What's not up for debate is little Oreo here looking cute for the camera there on the day this picture was taken. I think I understand why they called him Oreo. It is cute, looking up there at the camera. It's a cold morning for your catwalk forecast. Of course, your cat probably takes you on a walk. At least that's how mine works. 49 degrees by 10 o'clock, partly sunny, on our way into the 60s for the afternoon. First Alert Radar Network is dry, so no troubles out there for your outdoor plans early on, but you are going to need a coat. We're all the way down at 35 degrees right now at Augusta Regional Airport. Most of the area a little bit warmer than that. 38 in Evans, 43 in Waynesboro, all the way up at 45 in Barnwell, where you have had some clouds in and out of the area. Where you have had clouds, it is a little bit warmer. Currently just 42 in Martinez, but not too far away there in North Augusta. We're down there at 38 degrees. The car wash forecast looking good if you want to get the car cleaned up after all the messy weather the past couple of weeks. No chance of rain in forecast until at least about Thursday or Friday. High temperatures will be headed up after a brief cool down today. And I use that term loosely. The average high today is 61, so even 65 is a little bit warm for this time of the year. But we're in the 70s after today, even upper 70s by Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Morning lows headed up as well. No freezing temperatures in the forecast. The average low 36. We're only 60 for a low temperature as we head toward Thursday. Rain chances will be low, but there's a small chance of rain along about Thursday, possibly lasting into Friday or Saturday as well. We'll tell you a little more about that forecast coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Chris. And this week, your Will Rio was at the Old Waynesboro Courthouse in Burke County to learn more. It says if the sheriff decides to sue, then the board will have to pay for the attorney at the rate of $175 per hour, which is the county rate, not the $400 he's asking for. In the city of North Augusta wants to hear from you on whether to apply for a grant to improve the Palmetto Trailway project. Parks and Recreation Director Rick Meyer says there are more than 5,000 homes in the the area of the trail, making it difficult to access. Some upgrades they want to make to the trail include a parking lot, ADA accessible, a privacy shelter, and a kiosk.
If you can turn your community into a community where people have access to the trails and they can walk to places or ride their bike to places versus just using a vehicle to drive, it's about health and wellness. It's about economic impact.
You can reach out to the Parks and Recreation Department to submit your feedback with an application. You have until February 7th. And now to the future of the James Brown Arena. This is when it looked like the roof caved in last month. Now it looks like most of the building is gone. Leaders say demolition is about 75% complete and should wrap up by the end of next month. Then they'll start working on the new foundation in May. While crews are working, so is the Coliseum Authority. It's officially approved a contract for a hockey team. The contract will be with the East Coast Hockey League. That's to help the form a team here in Augusta for the first time in more than a decade.
That's 36 extra dates a year that you'll be able to come down and enjoy the arena, right? And plus that, if you make it to the playoffs, even further on, more than 36 dates. So that's economic impact for downtown Augusta.
Augusta owns this building. I mean, it's the people's building. And so it's going to make this building more successful.
Leaders say the return of hockey will be a return for taxpayers once it's all said and done. And Augusta commissioners are at a standstill on the trash rate decision. City leaders cannot agree on a rate, which is a matter they've been debating for months now. Right now, the city is paying $1 million to extend its current rate until March. The recommendation from the engineering department is to increase the monthly rate by roughly $10. The plan also recommends taking some of that money to use for other services like mosquito control and street sweeping. Commissioners agreed to extend the current contract by 4 more months, amending the plan to seek a single provider for all 3 zones and to include recycling.
Last year we had 2 vendors. This year we ended up with 2 vendors. And I rather look at bottom line pricing that's for the constituent, because with all the other frills on it, we're going to be the highest garbage paying entity around, and that's not fair.
Right-of-way and city-owned lot maintenance is another topic discussed. The city administrator says her team is looking at a comprehensive maintenance program she hopes to have before commissioners within the next 60 days. In Aiken County now, the Wagner Fire Department will remain under Aiken County for 3 more months. That's after council voted to extend its contract at a meeting yesterday. It's to make sure there's fire crews to respond to emergencies. We've been following this Wagner fire issue for months now after the fire chief and the majority of firefighters left. Back in November, Aiken County gave the town of Wagner a 90-day notice of termination. It would have gone into effect February 18th. Since then, dozens of firefighters have rejoined the Wagner Fire Department and want to be its own department separate from the county.
There's certain logistical things they have to do to get stood up as a department, probably get an LLC name, become a nonprofit, and do all those sorts of things you got to file with the Secretary of State and those places, and then staff that and have the equipment.
The current fire department tells us they have submitted a request to the Secretary of State to become a nonprofit and are waiting for a response.
On Your Sideline, sponsored by Chandler Law Firm.
As a sports reporter, I'm excited for individual sectionals. Over in college hoops, AU men's and women's were also in action over at Columbus State. The women's team has now lost 3 of its last 4 games. They now sit at 4th place in the Peach Belt standings. The men's team gets it done against the top team in the conference, and they move up to 2nd in the Peach Belt standings. Here's a better look at scores across the country. Clemson is now 10-1 in conference play after a road victory at NC State. Georgia Tech storms back from down 10 at the half to upset number 21 Louisville. UGA gets obliterated in Tuscaloosa by number 4 Alabama. Roll Tide. And Georgia Southern can't climb out of an early hole. They're now 11-12 on the season.
And speaking of hoops, Dawn Staley's number 2 ranked Gamecocks are back in action Sunday as they host Auburn, and a familiar face is going to be in the house for a special day. The all-time leading scorer in the program's history will have her jersey in the rafters forever. Rick Henry has more from Columbia.
A'ja Wilson is well on her way to becoming one of basketball's biggest stars as a high school senior. She leads Heathwood Hall to a state championship. She's named the SEC Player of the Year her sophomore season. The Gamecocks also win the SEC regular season and conference tournament titles for the second straight year. Her junior season is more of the same as the Gamecocks continue their SEC dominance.
You know, you've had quite a season. Repeat as SEC Player of the Year, win the regular season and tournament titles again. What can you do to make this season even better?
Just bring a national championship to Columbia, South Carolina. That's bringing it home.
A'ja and her teammates delivered. She puts up a double-double, 23 points and 10 rebounds in the final game as USC beats Mississippi State 57-48 to win the program's first national championship. A'ja finishes her USC career the following season as the school's most decorated athlete. Wilson is the program's leading scorer with nearly 2,400 points. She's a 4-time All-American and 3-time SEC Player of the Year. Wilson caps her senior season by sweeping the National Player of the Year awards. A'ja was the #1 overall WNBA draft pick in 2018. She's helped the Las Vegas Aces win 2 championships, and she's picked up 3 league MVP awards. If that's not enough, A'ja has won 2 Olympic gold medals with Team USA, and in 2021, the university unveiled a statue of her outside Colonial Life Arena. It's one of 3 on the campus that represents a specific individual and the first one of a woman.
Sunrise is coming up at 7:23, but it's already starting to get a little bit daylight. You see a few clouds there on the horizon. Those are kind of playing with our temperatures this morning. The high yesterday, 69, the morning low 40. It'll be a little bit cooler than that out there today, but there's a big warm-up on the way for the week ahead. We'll have a check on your forecast coming up.
At Burkell, it's...
And there's that mention of rain starting on Thursday and Friday.
Thanks, Chris. And Georgia Democrats make a big proposal to expand health care to more Georgians and gun safety measures. Georgia State House reporter Abby Kasouris has the latest from Atlanta.
Here at the state capitol, Democrats are in the minority, meaning they need to search for allies, and they think that they've found some. More Republican senators have signed on to this bill, which would fully expand Medicaid under the Affordable Care Act, essentially ditching the governor's plan. Democrats estimate 500,000 Georgians would be eligible.
This is the greatest failure of Republican leadership, is the lack of providing access to health care to Georgia citizens.
House Minority Leader Carolyn Hughley partnering with Senate Minority Leader Harold Jones, a united force to push Senate Bill 50 through.
That's the bottom line. Your constituents need your help. Georgia needs your help because many of those Republican senators represent those rural areas.
4 Republican senators signed on to the measure. Russ Goodman, Billy Hickman, Cardin Summers, and Ben Watson. We talked to Watson last year.
So I do think we still need to explore what we're doing, give this a little bit of time, another year or so.
Watson said he'd wait and see how many people would sign up. The latest numbers are underwhelming. 1 in 10 Georgians remain uninsured. Since Georgia Pathways launched in July 2023, more than 8,300 people have enrolled. A far cry from the 200,000 people the governor's office expected. When asked in a press conference earlier this month, Governor Brian Kemp said he would not support Medicaid expansion.
And I am not in that boat.
The governor said his #1 focus this legislative session is tort reform, which would limit the number of lawsuits and their payouts in our state. Tort reform could be a bargaining chip for Democrats who want Medicaid expansion and gun safety measures. State Senator Elena Perrin pushing a bill requiring guns to be secure around children or face a misdemeanor offense.
And really unacceptable. And Georgia can do better.
State Senator Emmanuel Jones flanked by parents with signs calling for change. Senate Democrats supporting a statewide database to allow schools to track concerning behavioral trends. Democrats filing those bills today. Next, they'll be assigned to committee. In Atlanta, I'm Abby Kasouris.
And officials have confirmed ICE is carrying out raids in Metro